So, Mark, it's very exciting to meet you. Thank you very much for taking the time today to talk to us about
Thanks for having me here.
This hot topic and this cutting-edge topic of interactive email. So perhaps if we could start by imagining somebody who is new to the entire scene of interactive email, maybe if you could provide us with a brief description and maybe give a few examples.
Yeah, sure. So the definition which I use is it's an action taken in an email that triggers an event without leaving that email. So what that really means is traditionally in email marketing, you're sending images, and that could be some text and some images and some well-written copy and a link, with the main goal of getting a user to click on that link and go to the landing page to complete an action. With interactive email, we're trying to get that action put back into the email. So example of that could be, instead of giving a user a link to fill out a review for a product they've just bought, you could give them the review form directly in the email. Another option could be, if you're sending information about a new product, instead of linking them straight through, they could have a look at a bit more, have an image gallery, have some drop downs of a bit more information, and so they make a more informed choice before clicking through to the landing page.
Okay, excellent. So you're kind of breathing life really then into the email.
Yeah, so it's the idea is bringing the landing page into the email.
Okay. So email is taking on a new form.
Yeah, we won't need websites anymore.
Okay. And then how do you measure then interaction that takes place within an email?
So we can measure it in a number of things are the same as you'd have traditionally. Obviously, you're measuring your deliverability, your open rates, and on the other end, you've got your conversion. It's the bit in between, though. The main thing people look at currently is looking at your click-through rates. So people clicking on the email through to the website. Okay. With interactive email, we can also track every click that happens inside the email. So every interaction the user makes, every little button they click on, we can track that as well. So one of the interesting things that we have seen is sometimes the actual click-through rate might drop a little bit for an interactive email, but the conversion rate will be higher because the user is getting more information out of the email. When they click through, they're a more qualified user, so they convert higher, but maybe a few less might click through. But these are people we would expect to drop off anyway. Process.
So the KPIs then are evolving.
They're evolving slightly, and it's a case of, instead of looking at just your click through to websites, you click through to website plus your clicks on interactions. So you can combine those two statistics if you want, or look at them individually too.
Okay. What impact then do you see or do you predict for customer relationships and for purchasing behaviour?
So we've seen, as a general statistic, we've seen people converting higher, so buying more stuff, but also one that's interesting, particularly with luxury brands, is we're seeing users spend more money. So the conversion rate might not change too much, but the average spend was going up. I don't really know why. Perhaps the users are feeling a bit more engaged with this sort of new technology and the advancements that are being made.
Well, speaking of conversion rates, if I was a brand, I think you would have converted me. So if I was a brand and now choose then to use interactive email, what would be the infrastructure requirements that I would need to consider?
So first of all, you need to create the email. So there are, you could do that in-house, you could get an agency to do it, but creating the interactive code is different to creating regular HTML code. And it's quite a specialist area, and it can be very tricky. But you can build on that and train the team up to work with that. Also, there's this new AMP for email formats that's come out, which is a bit of an easier way of coding the emails, but that has a little bit less support currently. And then once you've got your code, you then need an ESP that will support it as well. So in terms of sending it, every time you upload email code into an ESP, every ESP works slightly differently, but they will all change that code a small amount, some more than others, and some of them, in the ways they change the code, will break the interactivity, others don't. So that's something that you'll need to test just to make sure that the ESP is supporting it as well. And with AMP for email, that requires a separate MIME type, which is a more complex thing that the ESP needs to support that separate MIME type. Okay,
and have we come to the point yet? I think you've partially answered this already, where all email clients then are supporting interactive email? So
the email client support for interactive is a bit varied still. The way the email clients handle code is very different with all of them, and we are seeing support growing. Recently Outlook.com made some changes, so now they're supporting interactive email, and now with AMP coming in, that's bringing interactivity into Gmail, where it wasn't there before, and some more features into Yahoo and Outlook.com as well. Okay. But there are still a few where it's not working. The big one being Outlook, the Outlook desktop on Windows. The Outlook desktop app on Mac is interactive, and Outlook webmails are interactive, but it's the desktop Outlook on Windows, which is based off the Microsoft Word rendering, and that doesn't support interactivity still.
And what's the resistance there? When is that leap forward going to happen?
I don't know. It was in 2007 that Outlook switched from using HTML rendering to Word rendering, and since then people have been campaigning to try and make them to change back to, this is by using that Word format, it's causing a lot of issues with design and layout, and a lot of issues with accessibility as well. And not having interactive email is only a small part. I think they need to address the other issues first.
Okay. So then maybe to wrap up with a rather broad question, what is your vision for interactive email, and what do you think is next?
Well, there is so much that is currently possible with interactive email that hasn't been fully explored yet. This is a new take on the way we code emails. That actually there has been support for interactive email for quite a few years before anybody was doing it, and we're only just discovering what's possible now. So I think there is a huge range of possibility. It's limited by your ideas, really. If you can think of it, try it, and a lot of people are doing some very creative things with it. I think we'll see more brands embracing it. A lot of the early interactive email things, particularly things that I worked on and people I know have worked on, are more fun things, more like seeing what's possible, and it's not so much a campaign, it's just an experiment. But now we're starting to see more brands using it properly, and I think as brands start to embrace it more, we'll see more email developers getting into the area, and that brings more ideas, which then leads to more possibilities.
Okay, so a new lease of life for email awaits us.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for some really good insights, and I think there's very exciting times ahead of us by the sounds of it.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.